welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Legacy. I have a dealer's choice from Patreon subscriber Brendan, and I've chosen to use it to play Nadu Breakfast. Cephalid Breakfast is, of course, the combo deck that originally used Nomad's en-kor for fun and profit, long before Nadu. These Zoomers don't even know. Cephalid Breakfast is also a deck that was very good about a year and a half ago, one of the best in Legacy. I won a big tournament with it. At the time, it was literally the weekend Bowmasters released and nobody really had them yet, which is why I got away with it. But that was the big shift. And Breakfast has sort of clung on as a top 10, top 15 deck in Legacy, has not regained that top 3 slot. But Nadu is another angle for the deck to operate on. This does not draw cards, which means it doesn't care about Bowmaster. Also, Bowmaster record low right now because it's not actually good in scam mirrors, and that's what the whole format's about. Scam decks are playing Psychic Frog, Dauthi Voidwalker. Bowmaster's kind of the third choice. It is in the mix. I'm not surprised to see it, but it is not an automatic 4 of anymore. Usually it's like 1 or 2 of in some flex slots, and I'm not even sure if that's right over Psychic Frog. But Nadu dodges all of that. Nadu also bashes pretty well, just 3-4 flying, here I come. Not bad. And provides overwhelming card advantage with Nomad's en-kor. We've seen a bunch of Nadu decks on my channel so far in both Modern and Legacy, a bunch of different takes on it. The second one I did way back when Modern Horizons 3 first came out was a very early prototype list of Nadu Breakfast. It was a Yorion build. It had a whole Stoneforge Mystic package and a whole bunch of other stuff going on. In the time since I released that, the Cephalid Breakfast community has really done the work on the 60 card versions. And there is still some variation. There does not appear to be a stock 60 yet. This build has Delighted Halfling, which is something that I'm interested in and want to try because powering out Teferi and Nadu, those are both really insane things to get going. Delighted Halfling can also accelerate an Urza Saga. It's also a distraction. Like if I lead on Tropical Island Delighted Halfling and then it gets Swords to Plowshare, that's a plow they don't have for Cephalid Illusionist in my deterministic game-ending loop that I can present with this deck. I've seen other builds that just kind of have Nadu, but are otherwise mostly a breakfast deck. I've seen builds with Springheart and Antuco that really try to shred the whole deck once they start rolling. I like that this one is kind of in the middle. It's a very good breakfast deck. It's a very good Nadu deck. And I love that basically all of them are main decking 3 or 4 copies of Swords to Plowshares. This is one of the innovations I came up with pretty quickly when Orcish Bowmaster was printed all that time ago. Because Cephalid Breakfast was not main decking any removal before Bowmaster came along. And then I was like, what if we just put 2 plows in the main and buy room to combo? And now 3 or 4 is pretty stock in all the lists that I've seen. But having a juke in your combo deck is awesome. When your combo juke is also a combo, that's awesome. Getting more uses for Nomad's en-kor, a card that is very bad on its own, is awesome. This is exciting. I'm into it. And we get to play Bant again. Any excuse to play Bant on the channel, I'm going to take. Let's get into it. This is Brendan's Nadu Breakfast. I'm on the draw for round 1. I'm going to keep my hand, just a little Island Ponder action. There's no Nomad, no payoff for Nomad, but we can kind of play normal Magic sometimes. Once upon a time. Are you Cradle Control? Are you Eldrazi? Are you 12 Post? What are we doing? Oh, baby. I suspect that your turn 0 or turn 1, once upon a time, doesn't really want to hit Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger in most circumstances, but they certainly have it. Delighted Halfling was an insane find there, because I do need to clear Vexing Bauble to be able to Dread Return, and my only way to do that is bouncing it with Teferi. Planar Nexus immediately turns on Urza's Tower because it counts as all non-land or non-basic land types, which includes Urza's Mine and Power Plant. Disruptor Flute. Okay. Are we naming Nomad? Naming Wasteland. Okay. Not a card I play, but something that you do need to worry about when you're on that deck. Okay, I'm going to fetch. Or Tundra, I guess. Yeah, that gets my core color set up. I'm going to drop this Teferi in. Uh-oh. Oh, flashing a Disruptor Flute in response. Okay, so Teferi can't be activated. They pitched a Spirit Guide to do that. That was a cool trick. Okay, Teferi's in play. They don't get instants anymore, but they probably don't care. And I don't know that I can combo through Vexing Bauble with the list. Yep, literally can't. I don't even have 2 black sources to hardcast Red Return. Okay, I'm going to have to win this game the hard way. There's a Saga. I'm going to Ponder. There's a Nomad. Do I even want that? Because the Saga can be a Shuko eventually. I guess I'll take the Nomad just in case. I can't double spell this turn because Delighted Halfling doesn't tap for real mana. I'm just going to cast Narcomoeba and attack for 1. Not really where you want to be, but it's what we've got. We know they have 2 cards in hand, one of them's Ulamog, and they have 4 mana right now. The best thing I can hope for is they panic and draw a card with Vexing Bauble, like if they're going to start missing land drops. Another Nexus that they now have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana for Ulamog. I draw Flooded Strand. I'm allowed to Ponder here. If I find Nadu, I'm shoving it. Hey, nothing good here, shuffle it. Well, I found Nadu. I can start flipping cards. Do I want Underground Sea in play? I have 1 copy of Cabal Therapy for black cards in the deck. I don't think I want that. I think I want Savannah just to round out my colors. Then we got blue, green, uncounterable, Nomad's en-kor. Glad I kept that last turn. I have 8 flips right now, and then 8 flips on their turn. Oh, baby. They panic flipped the bauble and then scooped. Okay, so because they sacked the bauble, I could have, in my 8 flips, come up with 2 lands and Illusionist, and maybe just 1. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger is what they were looking for on that turn 1, Once Upon a Time. All right, what do we got here? Prismatic Endings come in because they do have a prison element to the deck. Haywire Might answers the same sort of things. I'm not really set up for this at all, other than comboing them out, which is a good answer, honestly. Soul Guide Lantern doesn't matter. Swords to Plowshares even seems mid. I don't know what mid-range creatures they have. Like, they could be on Thought-Knot Seers and stuff, but I think my goal here is to just try to combo fast and bring in all my stuff that can disrupt their stuff that disrupts my stuff. Let's try it. Veil of Summer is an out to Vexing Bauble as well, but I'm not going to bring in Veil of Summer as a 1-mana answer to Vexing Bauble when I could have Prismatic Endings and Haywire Mights be the same thing. Oh, baby. This is a turn 2 win if I draw a land. I'm definitely keeping this. I have Halfling and Ponder to try to smooth things out, even if it has to happen on turn 3. It's fine, but if I just rip any land, I'm shoving the Nomad. Okay, Force of Will. Now I have real choices to make. I think I want to get Tropical Island and cast Halfling. Yeah, I have to back off a little bit here because I didn't find the land. Halfling gives me a 2nd mana, which can cast Illusionist. So if I draw, playing the Halfling develops into a spot where I could still do stuff if I don't draw land, and if I draw the Plains or White Source, I can still just go off next turn. And Mana Dorks are busted. Okay, they have Cloud Post, and they currently have 3 mana. Come on, White Source for the game. Not a White Source. This does cast Teferi, who I don't hate. Because if they brought in stuff like Dismember, let's at least turn that off. And if they want to play a Flute and turn off Teferi, then they're not turning off my Nomads. If this was Noble Hierarch or Birds of Paradise, we would have won this turn. Just saying. Crop Rotation. This card's really good. I'm going to force Crop Rotation, pitching Ponder. I just feel like this exchange is really good for me, even if I am working my way towards a combo. All right, I drew Dread Return. Well, life just got harder because I'm also holding the Cabal Therapy. All right, run Bad City. Now we have to actually do this the hard way. My black source is Underground Sea. Okay. There's no way to get white and black out of 1 land in the deck. All right, we're on Urza Saga Beatdown until something else materializes. Okay, they have the same 3 mana they had last turn, Flute. They could name Saga, Shuko, or Nomad, I think are all reasonable things to name here. Nomad, sure. Well, the Shuko is still pending. Bonus Saga. Yeah, I can't even cast a spell here. I guess I'm just going to attack for one. Got him. I have a lot of constructs coming, even if they come up with another prison thing and name Shuko, or if they kill my first Saga. Might go spawn. Alright, this tutors for Wasteland. But they named Wasteland last game. They might just go big mana here. They might have one tech Wasteland or one tech Ghost Quarter. I don't know. We'll find out together. They do have one tech Wasteland. Okay. I will make my 1-1. My mighty 1-1. Come on, Underground Sea. Another Saga. Keep them coming. How many Myco spawns you got? How many Wastelands are in this deck? All right, not attacking this time. They have a better creature than me. They found another Cloud Post. That's scary. Now they have 5 mana. Another Myco spawn. Still one short of kicking it, mercifully. Tabernacle. Fascinating. Do I care about that? I only care about that because I don't have Underground Sea in my hand. Casting Once Upon a Time. Okay. Yeah, that Tabernacle is actually really good. But again, only because I drew my Dread Return. Okay. I'll still make the construct. Worst case scenario, I just sack it next turn. And I probably will just sack it. Yeah, alright. They're just dead. It's fine. And then I will tap this Urza's Saga to save the Halfling. Okay, so I want to draw Black Source or Brainstorm right now. Illusionist is not it. Float a green. Thanks, Yavimaya. Tutor Shuko. And then I could minus Teferi on Disruptor Flute, try to spike the out. Or Brainstorm wouldn't have even done it. Maybe they'll concede if I cast Cephalid Illusionist. I think I could get away with that. I don't even want to bounce anything, though. But I do want to draw a card. Okay, I'll bounce the Disruptor Flute. Hey, we found a land. Okay. Cephalid Illusionist. Fetch. Underground Sea. Ball Therapy, you naming Endurance. Or Surgical. What do I think is more likely? Yeah, it sucks I had to use Teferi to get this far. Or else I wouldn't have to even worry about this. Ball Therapy, target you. I'm going to name Surgical. Okay, it's just nothing. Perfect. We did it, gamers. And now I can Flashback Therapy, name Dread Return when we get there. Yeah, that was dicey for a minute, but we are going to be okay. That is the downside of having a combo in your deck that's full of cards that are actively bad if you draw them. I have plenty of creatures here to sacrifice to Cabal Therapy and then also Dread Return. My last Narcomoeba was the last card of my deck. And I'm going to Cabal Therapy myself, sacrificing Narcomoeba, name Dread Return. And we did it. Cool. Yeah, that was super tight, but the combo did the damn thing at the end. Just had to work around it. Work around bad runs for a little while. Or else that would have been a clean, turn 3 win? Protected turn 3 win. But instead we drew Dread Return. And then we won on turn 5 anyway. Good stuff. On to the next round. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks. And groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the play in round 2 with no mana sources whatsoever, going to Mulligan. Okay, I could party with this. I could just send it turn 2. I could play Halfling and try to do Nadu stuff. I think I'm going to bottom Brainstorm and just straight up party here. Yeah, I'm just going to go Tundra Nomad. Here in check, go. Tundra, uh-oh. Force of Will off the top. Not a Force of Will. Though it is a land that casts Nadu next turn. Which means I want to get the Saga clock ticking. Okay. Here's Cephalid Illusionist. Emergency B-Storm. Cephalid Breakfast. Breakfast is served. Okay, we're against some blue-white Brainstorm deck. That's all we know. Yeah, that's the thing about combo decks, especially when you have something like Nadu that can refill you, or Urza Saga that can be a backup plan. You just send it. Sometimes they don't have it, and it's fine. Okay, Dispute, Lavinia seem like things I want versus Tundra, Brainstorm, Concede. I don't think I want Force of Negation. That's more when you're on defense versus other combo or prison pieces. Not really. Again, it doesn't help versus control because you can't counter a counterspell with that. Veil of Summer does counter spells, but I'm more interested in Veil versus stuff like Grief, Thoughtseize, Tendrils of Agony. So I'm a deck with uncounterable Teferis and a bunch of my own counterspells already. Looking at probably Swords to Plowshares as things I'm going to cut versus this unknown, maybe control deck. All right, yeah. I'm going to make this change, and if we learn anything in game 2 and we need a game 3, we can do it then. Oh, this one's a little slow and clunky, but I will keep it. I'm on the draw, and I have a Surveil land and a ton of cantrips. The best case scenario is I just draw a fetch land on turn 1, but we can play a game if that doesn't happen. Check me right back, huh? Okay, I'm gonna fetch for Tundra and cast Ponder. I boarded out all my Sword Plowshares. I have to find Force of Will or I lose. Shuffle this. Drop. Okay. So that's what we're doing. I've certainly boarded incorrectly. They're attacking for 1 and passing. All right, all right. Saying there's a chance. I'm going to B-Storm. Okay, this Cabal Therapy is not a castable magic card. And Meticulous Archive doesn't do anything that I need right now. I'm going to cast Halfling and try to do some stuff next turn. I could have just tried to shove Lavinia here, but they kept their hand on the strength of something, and it wasn't combo, so it must be interaction, which is why I led on that one. If they stick Nadu here, they get 4 flips. Just a fetch, no Nadu yet. Certainly doesn't mean they don't have it. Okay. Well, they haven't had it yet. I could play Lavinia here. I could Brainstorm and see what's going on. Yeah, I'm going to play Savannah and Lavinia, and then I'll play my Nomad. Or I could wait and just hold a Brainstorm in case there's an emergency. Yeah, because I can shove Nadu plus Nomad next turn, and leaving this mana up is something they have to think about. Archive. They can't Dread Return from this position because of Lavinia. They banned a Brainstorm. Not interested in that. That's scary. That card's really good when nothing's really happening, which describes his board state. Wow, no play pass. So their hand is 5 spells. I don't think I really want to just shove Nadu into this situation. I'm going to Brainstorm and see what happens, because if I could Cabal Therapy them, that would be great. Oh, now I don't mind shoving Nadu at all. Put back Archive and Therapy. I'm actually going to redraw the Therapy, because flipping the Archive into play is pretty cool. And I'll cast Nadu, see what they want to do. Do I want to attack? I don't think so. I have seen versions with Snapcaster Mage in it. All right, Nadu. I get the Cabal Therapy. Yeah, I could have stacked in a way that if they remove it, I get paid immediately. That might have been better. Ponder. They definitely have the advantage of knowing what my deck is, and I didn't know what theirs was. So they're sideboarded correctly, and I'm not. Pretty serious issue, I dare say. Did not shuffle Ponder. Land number 3. Nadu is live. Yep, resolves. I have nothing here. They could flip 8 cards before I get to do anything. And I'm just going to F6. It is clear that I can't do anything. Lotus Petal, that's countered. Force of Will, that's countered. Lavinia, what's up? Flooded Strand, that comes in. Urza Saga comes in. Pretty good stuff. Okay, so we're going to be in a Nadu spam battle. That's what's happening here. Saga ticks up. Play my first Nomad. Swords to Plowshares is something that can interact right now. I'm going to play my second Nomad. Just make sure that this is all covered. And here comes Nadu. If this sticks, I am Naduing harder than them. But if they find a removal spell, I'm in trouble. Halfling's not it. Ponder's not it. Fairy's not it. One more. Island is not it. Can we get in? Okay. They're targeting Nadu again just to make sure. Yeah, you did that already. Do they? You can't fetch Dryad Arbor with Flooded Strand. Veil of Summer, Force of Will works. Because they do have enough lands to cast Force. Okay, Force, Pitching, Ponder. Can't be countered. Okay, sad times. And we're not dead yet, so I will pass the turn, let them draw another 4 cards, or 8 cards. Fairy resolves. Lavinia's gone. Petal. Another Nadu, a Brainstorm. Thassa's Oracle. Tundra. There's the Brainstorm. Soul Guide Lantern. Yikes. And 2 of my Nadus are gone already. I'm mostly fishing for information at this point. Halfling, 2 more targets. 2 Thassa's Oracles. Dread Return in hand. Perfect. Right where we want that one. Here come the beats. They can make a construct to get 2 more targets if they want to sack their Lotus Petal to do it. Alright, Nadu off the top. Nadu number 3. That's not Nadu number 3. Alright, I'm cool. We're behind enough. I don't need to waste everyone's time on this. Okay, let's sideboard correctly. Basically everything I cut back in. And Lavinia, honestly not even good. Though she did have some cool text there for a minute, but not really what the game is about. Dismember looks good. I saw them bring in Veil of Summer. I don't know that I agree with that, so I'm not going to do it. I love Mystical Dispute. I do have to find 2 cuts here. I don't really need basic planes. They're not going to attack my mana. I don't want to play 18 lands, because at some point you just aren't casting spells anymore, but you don't need your basics versus decks that aren't going to attack your mana. Can I live without a Halfling? Can I live without a Narcomoeba? What's this game actually about? I think Halfling tests removal well enough. And this build has so many creatures, I think I can play without an Narcomoeba. That might kill me, but also, let's party. Just the worst hand imaginable. Gonna mulligan this. All of my combo pieces in hand. This is the second worst hand imaginable. No mana. Okay, here we go. And we landed on one of the best hands imaginable. I'm gonna get rid of Brainstorm and Plow and just focus on sending it. Tropical Island, Delighted Halfling. Let's go. This 7 would have been insane. Gotta make it work on 5, but it's fine. Lotus Petal. Get that in before the Lavinia. Wink, wink. Nomad. Oh. Well, okay then. I'm going to fetch for Tundra and cast. I'm going to lead on Illusionist, because that's the one that is worse. Because Nomad can go off with Nadu still. This Lotus Petal's a bummer. It's representing so much good interaction. Moment of truth. Emergency Brainstorm. Well, we're in. Okay. Let's see what happens. Surgical Extraction is bad for me. My Narcomoeba got in, though, which means my Cabal Therapy's live. My Oracle milled before my Therapy, though. That could end up being a blowout. I'd really like to find my Therapy before my deck is gone. Okay, there's Therapy with another Narcomoeba. Cabal Therapy, you sacking a Narco. I don't think you have Force of Will. I'm going to name Surgical. But you might have done that in response. Is that even good? I'm going to name Surgical. Okay, their hand's just blank. We did it. Cool. Just send it and you're good. Just milled the Dread Return so they know I have it. All right. Turn 2'd in both of the games I won, and then we had a really interesting middle game. On to the next round. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the play for round number 3. I will keep my hand. It doesn't cast Nomad right away, but it doesn't have to. I have Halfling and cantrips to do stuff. Get in there, Halfling. By the way, if you're on the other side of this, assume that Nadu is in the deck. Like, I don't know if I need to say that, but if you're new to the format or haven't played since Nadu came back, Delighted Halfling tells you Nadu. Full stop. No other deck is doing that. Well, we're getting scammed. We faded it this far. F6. Do they want both my Nomads? Do they want to take my Brainstorm? How are we doing this? Do they take Brainstorm and they just reanimate an Archon on me? Yep, Brainstorm's gone. That is the best card in my hand. Oh, hello. New best card in my hand. Do I want to attack for one? I think I do. Soul Guide Lantern. Playing around days. I hope their hand is just Entomb, Reanimate, 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 Reanimate. Emergency Brainstorm. Looking for that Force of Will. I wish this was a legend. But if it was the Soul Guide Lantern, then Halfling could cast it. Or what if it was Soul Guide, comma, Lantern? We're in there. Take the grief. Meticulous Archive. Show me that Cephalid Illusionist. Alright, I don't need a Halfling. That does give them a target for Reanimate, but they can have that. I'm going to get my beats in. Because attacking is one of the backup plans. Okay, are they just going to easily pivot onto Psychic Frog? I know this horse has been beaten into the dirt at this point, but it's so funny to me that we didn't ban Grief because we wanted to see what MH3 did for the format. Guess what? It buffed Scam. Illusionist. Nadu. Ugh, Force of Will's not what I wanted. Nomad, en-kor. And I'm just going to pass. I have plenty of eject buttons here. Like, my stuff is more powerful than Psychic Frog if I get my stuff going. But if we both just draw bad cards for the rest of the game, they're favored. Undercity Sewers, pre-combat. Kept their card, which they do get to draw right away. Giving Flying, as if I'd ever block. Fair enough. You're in there. Hey, they draw the card they just kept. And how about we rip a Nadu? Show me that Nadu, big bird. Take a Saga, though. That also applies pressure to the game. It could have Orcish Bowmaster, so I'm not going to attack here. Because Bowmaster doesn't kill anything right now, because Nomad can put the damage on Halfling with its gigantic 2 toughness booty. But if I attack, then they do get to hurt something. They pondered into a land. Psychic Frog's coming in. I think they've correctly identified that I'm not going to block. Come on, Nadu. Always looking for Nadu. Misty Rainforest is not a Nadu. And I'm still not attacking. Once I get a couple constructs next turn, I'll start attacking. I can hardcast Force now, too, if that becomes a thing I need to do. Petty Theft my Soul Guide Lantern. Huh. Okay. I could force the follow-up Entomb and just leave them chilling. Or I could just draw a card right now, and then they don't get the fairy. If they've been sandbagging a Grief, I am going to force this. If they care about that, then I care about that, though it does suck that they found that on the turn, or chose to use it on the turn where I need that mana to Saga. Okay, we won that counter war. It may have just been a distraction. I have no idea. It certainly cost us a 4/4 construct. Oh, another one. Now I can decide if I want Soul Guide Lantern in my hand to try to redeploy next turn, or do I want to draw a card and stuff their adventure. I think I'd rather have this in my hand. And if they just Entomb Reanimate now, they got me. If they Grief this out of my hand, that's another 2 cards spent to deal with it. If I just pop it, though, I just don't think the 3/1 body is the important part of this exchange. They didn't discard an Atraxa before combat, or before damage. Okay, they had one after combat. There's the Archon. The Archon does clear the Soul Guide Lantern, and do I want Halfling or Nomad in play? These decks don't really play removal. Alright. And I can tutor Shuko if I need to. Well, I have to tutor Shuko. It's the only target left. Trying to hit a big one here. Cephalid Illusionist. Shit. Well, we've lost. Alright. Have we lost? 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. They could easily make us lose here. Yeah, we're good. Alright. Outmaneuvered. Had a bunch of draws in a row that would have been good to hit, and we just didn't. And Psychic Frog just dominating my graveyard hate. That's what it was really about. Is there a full pivot, just Bant mid-range deck available to me here? And if so, do I want to be on it? Like, I could just do this and Cephalid Illusionist combo out, but I think shoving a combo over the top of them is better than trying to meet them where they are. Oh, Dread Return would be part of this package too. Don't forget that one, it's terrible. Dispute hits Frog. I'm actually going to try this Bant mid-range build and see what's up. Okay, I can stick Nomad in before their interaction comes up, before their grief comes up. Force of Will's pretty bad here. Oh, I had a Hedge Maze in the deck the whole time. I could have fetched that last game. I thought there was only one Surveil land. Those of you roasting me in the comments, you're right. Yeah, you play so many decks in my line of work, they all blur together and you forget what Surveil lands you have access to. I died last game with a fetch land in play and desperately needed a top deck on the final turn. This Hedge Maze would have been the place to go. My bad. Okay, Grief is likely to take Surgical Extraction, and they begrudgingly stacked their triggers correctly. Wow, they went after Force of Will. That's crazy. What do they know that I don't? Surgical is a 1-for-1 answer to their unfair stuff. Prismatic Ending is a 1-for-1 answer to their fair stuff. I don't even have a blue card for the Force. That's really weird, and I hate it. I also hate binning the Shuko, but I can't afford to draw it. Drawing a bonus Surgical is nice, though. If they took my Force, thinking that they could beat a Surgical, now they have to beat 2 of them. Fatal Push. Alright, well, that sucks. And I just binned my Shuko. We're back to 0. Psychic Frog. They know I have Prismatic Ending. They didn't take it. I have to imagine they have a counterspell of their own here. Hey, but I got that beat too. And this Frog. Please force this, please force this, please force this. Oh, baby. Force pitching Psychic Frog. I don't really want to fetch Underground Sea. Guess it's another Trop. Maybe I was supposed to fetch Savannah first. To round out my colors the best. I gave that a brief thought, then thought, no, it's fine. Wasn't fine. Oh, they pitched Atraxa on turn 1 to the Grief. Okay, so Atraxa's out. Alright, they got 1 card left. And they know I have Surgical in hand. B-Storm. This would be a great board to just shove a Nadu, fair and square. 3-4 flying. Let's go. Brainstorm, no play, no shuffle. Nadu off the top. There's the Savannah I was supposed to fetch last turn. And they're just drawing through their Brainstorm cards. That's how Brainstorm Walk works. That does mean their hand is all spells, though. The other Surveil land that I now am aware of. It's here. They just drew their last Brainstorm card. Right. Mystical Archive. Meticulous Archive. B-Storm right on the top. If they have Bowmaster, they got me, but this card's too good in this spot to not take a swing at. Force of Will pitching Harbinger of the Seas. Wowie. Okay. Well, that Harbinger would have killed me, so we at least got that out of the way. It never occurred to me for 1 second to Surgical their Force of Wills before trying my Brainstorm. If I had drawn Nadu, it was on my radar as something that I might want to do. Oh. Well, look who's here. Why is there a pause in my draw step? What are we doing? Are you going to mess with my Nadu that I just drew? Like, extract my Nomads? I don't know. Pausing in the draw step's weird. Extracting my Force of Wills, yeah, that's fine. You can have them. Behold, Nadu, Winged Wisdom, is a card in my hand. Okay. I think I want to Surgical their... Ooh, maybe it's Polluted Delta. Maybe it's just Grief, turn off Future Reanimates. Having 2 of these means that if their hand is just Force Blue card somehow, and it is, great. Alright. Alright, Grief, 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 Grief are out. And I'm going to Surgical the Force of Wills now. Well, they did a pretty good job on that. Alright, Force of Will out of your deck. Force, Force, Force. Okay. Well, I'm glad I did that. Maybe not glad I got a little too clever about the Forces. But their hand is Harbinger of the Seas, and I'm winning the damage race if they draw an island and slam this. Okay. The race is on. Shuko's in my graveyard. I do play a basic Plains. Lavinia can never be cast. I can still cast Ponders and stuff. Psychic Frog, Jesus. Alright, yeah, they're running hot. I'm no longer winning the damage race. I don't have to attack, though. Misty Rainforest. Yeah, I guess I'm just not attacking now. Neither of these creatures are big enough to beat Nadu. Nadu flies, so the frog can't get through it. We're just turtling back up. Saga just dies if I play it. Yeah, not only did MH3 give Scam a pivot threat that's really powerful, it gave them Magus of the Moon. Brainstorm. I can cast that. Nomad, Nadu, this is all bricks. So now I'm Brainstorm locked. If I find a Plains, the Nomad's ready to rip, but I think I'm just dead here. Ponder. Yeah, Frog's big enough to beat Nadu in combat right now. If I were them, I would attack with Frog. and I can't afford to block, and every card in their hand is definitely worth just winning the game. If they attack with Frog, I'm going to concede, because I'm Brainstorm locked and there's nothing I can do here. I'm losing the damage race, I'm losing the card advantage game. I can't cast spells. Okay. They don't know they can attack. We play on. Still not attacking. Redrawing Saga. Now my turn to be Brainstorm locked. And passing. Basic Plains is the draw that still does anything. Dismember works too. I would take Dismember. Oh, they have Entomb. Yeah, I guess, like, if I had just Surgical the Force, but they only play 4 and 2 of them were spent already, their hand would have had to be the third Force of Will and blue card to go with it, or else my thing is better. Alright, yeah, we're definitely dead. Alright, GG. Soloed by Harbinger of the Seas. Powerful stuff. This scam deck is messed up. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables.
Good. All right, here we go, gang.
In this YouTube series, hosts Cedric Phillips and Patrick Sullivan take us on a set-by-set journey through the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a focused deep dive into the facts about a set's design and release, the Magic lore expressed through the cards in that set, Tournament Edition gameplay videos featuring products and Pro Tour decks of the era, an award show that shouts out the best and weirdest cards of the set, and a final grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I'm on the play in round number 4. I have the Nomad start. I have some selection. I don't like the Dread Return being here. I am going to keep this hand though. And I think I want to just send it on a Nomad. Just going to go Tundra Nomad and see what they want to do about that. Because if this is scam, I'd rather have the creature in play than in my hand. This also gives me the high roll of just winning on turn 2. Ox Diamond. Discarding Dryad Arbor. This looks like some sort of depth strategy. Flagstones. And then no play. So this feels like a crop rotation to me. I like that draw. I don't need another tropical island. I'm going to attack for 1 because I have the Swords to Plowshares that can mess them up if they try to do any combat tricks. Flash in some creature, rotate for Dryad Arbor, whatever, I don't know. Wasteland I don't care much for, but if they don't fire it off, I am in good shape. They didn't fire it. Can we get to my main phase? They found it. Okay. Kinda wish I had kept that tropical island now. I have a Meticulous Archive I can use to try to find the next hit, though. Yavimaya is not Wasteland. I get my Meticulous Archive in the end step and hope to hit land number 3. Archive, land number 3 right on the tippity top. Here comes a crop rotation. Let's see if they get a Wasteland, if this is how they want to do this, or what's going to happen here. Savannah off the Flagstones, it's the one that happens first. And they are interested in turbo wasting me. And it is a good plan. Okay, I'll continue with the Nomad's en-kor beatdown. Any land draw in my deck cast Nadu. I'm no longer able to use Teferi for protection. Feeling quite silly for binning that tropical island all those years ago. Discarded Sajiri Step, Thespian Stage. Alright, deck, hook it up. Give me that land. Or that one. Okay, Cephalid Illusionist. Do you have a plow? This is kind of awkward, though, because the Dread Return's in my hand. If they have crop rotation, I lose. Yeah, I think I'm just going to hold up, actually. Because if they were going to crop rotate for Dark Depths, I can flip Narcomoebas and block, and then try to win next turn, and then the crop rotation's gone. Having the Dread Return in my hand is just stink mode. They're tanking in my end step. I wonder if they're thinking about going for the win, or holding up this crop rotation. Crop rotation happens. They have the depths. They have 1 card left. If it's another crop rotation, they can beat Narcomoeba. Because they have Sajiri Step in the graveyard, which can get Echoing Cave or another Sajiri Step. Okay. Mill 3. Bajuka Bog doesn't work, because I can just get another Narcomoeba. Depending on how these things roll off the top, Bajuka Bog might take my combo out if I hit the Oracle before I hit a Narcomoeba. Mill 3. All right, I did hit the Oracle before I hit an Archimedes. If they bog me, the combo's off the table. Though bog or crop rotation's lethal anyway because of the Sajiri step. So I can't worry about that. Endurance doesn't do anything here. I just go again. All right, I'll make Narcomoeba now. Let these triggers resolve. Block. Okay. If I rip a white source, I can remove Merit Lage. And if I don't, I'm just going to have to try to combo and hope they don't have anything. Because if they had anything, they could have just won the game. So I have to operate like they have nothing. I'd rather just draw a white source and win, though. All right, well, I'm going to play this backup Illusionist. And then just try to go for the win. This is all I can do at this point. Narcomoeba. I'd like that, please. Last Narcomoeba. I hit my Cabal Therapy yet. Nope, it is in the bottom 3 cards. Gonna have to go all in here. Therapy, target me. Sacrifice one of the Illusionists. Probably should have sacked the one that can attack. Dread Return. Dread Return, targeting Thassa's Oracle. Moment of Truth. Doesn't really matter what I sacrifice, because I lose no matter what. I either win or lose right now. They floated the green and then conceded. Had me on the ropes there, but I knew I would have been dead if they had crop rotation to the Merit Lage attack. So we weren't actually playing around anything serious there. Okay, depths. Prismatic Ending and Pithing Needle have text here. This deck kind of uses its graveyard, but not enough that I'd want Soul Guide Lantern. I don't need Delighted Halfling for the counter magic, but I do kind of want it for the mana. But I think I can back off it a little bit. Maybe I don't want Needle. I just go 2 endings here. Call it a day. Needle can name Knight of the Reliquary, Elvish Reclaimer, Thespian Stage. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I want this Needle. Teferi solves a lot of the guesswork in the matchup, although I think Teferi is kind of mid. I guess I'll remove Teferi. It's Teferi or Halfling. Alright, I've decided on Halfling. Okay, I just like Teferi's ability to turn off Surgical, Endurance, Crop Rotation, just all the things. Teferi also bounces Knight of the Reliquary, and a sitting Knight of the Reliquary or Elvish Reclaimer represents Bojuka Bog. And counterspells don't help you at that point. I'm once again looking at a hand with Dread Return in it, though I can also set up a Teferi playing on basics. I have an island and a plains in the deck. There's no forest. I will keep this. If they keep a hand that's really good at just executing their plan, my hand sucks. If they keep a hand that's indexed heavily on stopping my combo, my hand's really good. Like if they're mulling to Endurance right now, they're on 5 at the moment and still thinking about that. If they're mulling to like Surgical and an Endurance, my hand's great. But if they just go Elvish Reclaimer, Flagstones of Trocaire, start spinning, we're kind of in the trash. They stopped on 5. Okay, 4 cards. Elvish Reclaimer. Alright, they are kind of doing their thing. Sajiri steps in the graveyard, though. That's good to know. Can I draw one of my removal spells? Nope. I'm going to get the basic plains here and play the Nomad. Because with 2 Sagas in hand, I have access to Shuko. I'm not really worried if Nomad dies. Especially at them with 2 cards in hand. If one of them is Swords to Plowshares, it's fine. But here's the thing I was concerned about, where they just spin up at Dark Depths, and I might not be fine. Okay, do I think selection? Yeah, selection's more important here than getting Urza Saga going. Orcish Bowmaster, look at you. Well, I don't want to play against that card. So I'm going to pitch Teferi, which might be regrettable, but they are down to 0. They do have a straight line to Dark Depths, though, and Hate in the middle. I'm going to get the Hedge Maze here. Card that I am now aware is in my deck. Come on, Nadu? Oh. Well, I don't not want this. I'm going to put it on top of my library. Just have to figure out what I'm doing with this Elvish Reclaimer. This land comes into play tapped, so I'm 1 turn away from getting Dark Depths. I'm going to get the Illusionist in and just represent a win if I can find one of the Plows or Teferi or Prismatic Endings in my deck. They are rotating the Savannah away, and they did get Dark Depths. They're going for their win. I don't blame them. I would too. Alright, Meticulous Archive gets 2 good looks here, and I can still do the Narcomoeba trick and chump block if I need to buy time. Archive, please show me Swords to Plowshares. Flooded Strands, not it. Let's go deck. Draw that card. Nomad's en-kor, number 2. Urza Saga, backup Nomad. Okay. I will set up a chump block situation. We've seen this one before. Yep, here comes Merit Lage. And it doesn't matter if they can give it, if I get Narcomoebas in now or later. Cephalid Illusionist only prevents damage to and by creatures I control. Okay, let's try to find a Narcomoeba and see if they have a Echoing Deep. There's Prismatic Ending right on top of my deck. Mega Tilt. And 2 Swords to Plowshares, additional tilt. I know I pitched Teferi to stop that thing earlier, which would have been the answer. So their 5-card hand did put appropriate pressure on me to make this hard. All right, fully halfway through my deck without an Narcomoeba at this point. There we go. Narcomoeba, get in there. And let's see if I get to blocks, or if they're going to copy the Sejiri Step in their graveyard, or if they have another Sejiri Step. My opponent also has a decision to make, even if they could make that play. If I'm just sandbagging a Swords to Plowshares, then they lose their Merit Lage and they have nothing going on. They didn't buy it, though. Okay. Just have to name blue, and I'll concede. Okay. Yep. Yeah, that one just came down to a white spell for me. Maybe a Dismember should be in just anything that could kill an elf or a knight, and the last halfling falls. I'm fine with that. Let's do it. Ay, caramba. 3 for 3 on Dread Returns in my hand. And once again, I have the turn 2 Goldfish, except this Dread Return is in my hand. And it still works, but I have to use my therapy on that. I guess I'll still keep. If I draw a blue card, I'm going to send it. Oh, wait. I don't even have it because I need blue mana. Ugh. All right. Well, maybe should have mulliganed this, but Meticulous Archive. Let's go. I will keep that island. And I do have Force of Will. I could just pitch Illusionist if feel like I'm under pressure that I don't want to be under. Discarded their Bajuka Bog. They have discarded relevant 1-of-tech lands to Mox Diamond all 3 games. Thoughtseize, huh? All right, yeah. Have a look. Take my Dread Return. They're going to take Illusionist here. Unless they're somehow more worried about Juko, which seems unlikely. Yep, that's gone. Okay, begin the Saga plan. I am going to play out the Shuko. It leaves me wide open to Force of Vigor, but if they brought that card in, good job. That's a weird one to have in. Zenith for 1. Claimers here. Brainstorm for me. I'm going to hold off and just make constructs. I don't think there's anything to tutor for in the deck right now that Shuko's in play. 2-2. Well, I drew Nadu. That's interesting. I have Nadu with Force backup and 2 creatures. All right, Urza Saga, you're off. That's not what we're doing. Oh, I do have Pithing Needle in deck. Look at me. I get to name Elvish Reclaimer. Yeah, that was the one I waffled about for a long time, and then got insanely paid for. Okay, green, blue, Nadu. I can force a Swords to Plowshares. They can't rotate here. Quit my construct. Begin the flipping. This doesn't care about Bowmaster. It doesn't care about crop rotation. I guess they could get Caracas, which is a very ugly half measure. Swords to Plowshares I can counter. Force Pitching Ponder on that. Do they have 2 things? They do indeed have 2 things. Okay. Nadu flips again, showing me an Illusionist. That means if this trigger makes a land, I just win. Okay. Nadu's gone. All right, flip an untapped land right now, Shuko. Let's do it. The Force of Will was under it. If that was the other thing I was considering of like, should I brainstorm for Force of Will or should I let this random flipped land just win the game for me? Oh well, I'll just win next turn. They have 1 card in hand and I have Force of Will. And the thing they Zenith for doesn't work. They can't waste me off blue. Juka Bog's in the graveyard. They could have Boseiju into Reclaimer activation. That's what they could do here that beats Force of Will. Oh, Echoing Deeps. DGAF. Copying my Saga. That means they can't even rotate if they have the Boseiju. No way they play 2 of those. They don't know I have Brainstorm. So they know I have Force Illusionist. They don't know I have a follow-up. Illusionist. And we go. They could play Bowmaster, Path to Exile. That's not it. All right. GG. Bang. Cool. Just got to solve the puzzle versus these decks. They have certain things they can do. And once you solve for them, then they can't do anything else. Just taking a moment to make sure I named the correct thing with Pithing Needle. I did. Not going to lose to Streamer Brain this time. The time, live on camera, I one-time Pithing Needle naming Pithing Needle. Here's my second Narcomoeba. I see Cabal Therapy in there. Third Narcomoeba. Plenty of creatures to do everything I need to do. And 0 cards remain in my deck. Cabal Therapy, target me. Sacrifice Construct Token. Thank you for your service. Dread Return. Dread Return, targeting Thassa's Oracle. We did it! Alright, on to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. Thanks for sticking with me. Friendly reminder that if you're still here and having fun, smash that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, you can use my affiliate link for TCG Player to support the channel while you shop for cards, and you can try any deck anytime with a cardhoarder.com loan account for Magic Online. All these links are in the video description below. Now back to the league. I'm on the play for the final round. Positive records locked. Got that bread and butter 4-1 to play for. I am going to keep his hand. And I'm going to go Hedge Maze Pass. I have Double Illusionist. I'm looking for a way to target this. The Cabal Therapy's in my hand because we have just been 100% for having the mill over targets in hand. I will keep this Mystery Rainforest. I have Ponder and Fetchland to make Ponders better. This insulates me versus Wasteland, which is in the #1 played deck by a lot. Looking at Goldfish stats, it actually says Scam is 41% of the last 28-day metagame, and it's 51% of the last 2 weeks at the time of recording this. Those numbers are outrageous. Oh, look at this nice extended border Flooded Strand and the bordered activity or effect bubble it creates. Didn't like that. Make a borderless effect bubble. Okay, I'm just going to plow the Delver. Grixis Delver is a legal and powerful deck in this format. There's also a low-to-the-ground Dimir deck that uses Nethergoyf Psychic Frog, but I don't think that's a Delver deck, so I don't think that's what we're up against. I would assume this is Grixis Delver. Alright, Big Birdo is here. I will put a land in my hand right now, just in case they're a Grief deck, and draw the Big Birdo next turn. Brainstorm from the opponent. These fetch lands can cast Cabal Therapy if I find a reason to want to punch a hole. Likely what I'm going to want to do is Cabal Therapy, naming Force of Will next turn, and then cast Nadu at the same time, and fetch Meticulous Archive in between. That's how I'm mapping this out. If I find a Nomad or Shuko instead, I could do that. Alright. Just having 4 lands available, we padded up against this. Let's see if they're able to Wasteland here. They might need that Wasteland to cycle a Troll and shuffle, but if they're not actually Scam, then that doesn't matter. Oh, they're going to see the Nadu. Didn't crack the bauble yet. Can I sneak this Nadu by them? Alright, cool. Nadu is safe. I'm just going to pass here. My plan is to still fetch Meticulous Archive. If they crack off another Wasteland here, that's fine with me. I could just keep the land that's on top of my deck. They seem to be holding the Mishra's Bauble because they actively don't want the cards they saw off Brainstorm. They didn't shuffle this time. They found the red land. Grix is confirmed. Okay, they're bobbling. They're going to see the fetch land that I'm about to shuffle away. And then I'm going to Meticulous Archive. And hopefully find a Nomad. Light a Halfling. I'll take that. Put you right on the tippity top. Do I want a Cabal Therapy now? I could Therapy naming Lightning Bolt. I think that makes sense to me. This does expose my colors in a way that I don't like. Like a Wasteland can actually take me off a core deck color. Lightning Bolt. We got him. There's an Unholy Heat in there too, but we still got him. I could just play Delighted Halfling and flashback immediately, naming Murktide Regent or naming Unholy Heat. But if they heat this, then they're not heating my Nadu. I could play Illusionist and use that to flashback on or Cabal Therapy. I'll use the Halfling. Go ahead, heat this. Yeah, them heating this is the same as me flashing it back and naming Unholy Heat, except that I still have Cabal Therapy in my graveyard. Okay, yep, that's done. The Murktide will be a clock. I am a Swords of Plowshares deck. I am a Teferi Time Raveler deck. I am also a Shuko and Nomad's en-kor deck. That's what I actually want. Let me just win. How about that? 7/7 Murktide. 1 unknown in the hand. Nomad? Ponder. Okay. I think I'd rather Ponder than shove Nadu. Oh, sick. We found everything. Savannah into my hand, shove Nadu. They would have had to draw Daze or Force of Will to get any sort of good exchange out of this. If they spend 2 mana to collapse this, then they won't be able to Brazen Borrow next turn. And they're going to see me flip the Nomad. I'll choose not to block, believe it or not. They can't waste me off what I want to do here. Their 2 unknown cards would have to be like Red Source Lightning Bolt for me to care here. Brainstorm. Okay, they're digging for something real. Trying to find that Force of Will. And they're tapping out of Molten Collapse to do it. Okay, they did find the rebuy, and now their hand could be anything. There's the Collapse. We flip the Nomad into hand. They have to have Force of Will here. Force blue card is required. I'm actually going to lead on Illusionist. Because if I can trick them into forcing this, I can follow it up. But if they force the Nomad, I got nothing. Oh, I should have flashed back Cabal Therapy. What a bleed. Okay. We got an ARG in the chat, so I guess we did it. Okay, off we go. I want to use a Narcomoeba to cast Cabal Therapy, just in case Daze is involved. I don't want to turn that card on by casting Illusionist here. What am I even worried about? What card could they have? They would have forced the Nomad. Do I play any Narcomoebas? I'm now 18 cards left in my deck. Did I board them out? It's game 1. 12 cards left in my deck. Okay, finally found an Narcomoeba. I am playing them. Okay, so I could Therapy. I don't know, what card could they have? What am I worried about? It's probably just still Force of Will. Okay, I'll Therapy them naming Force of Will. I can't imagine they have a relevant card here. Yeah, okay, their hand is just blanks. That's fine. Figured it out. The final Narcomoeba in the final 3 cards. Everything should be in here to do my thing. Dread Return, target Thassa's Oracle. Beep, boop, bop. Ding. Okay. Up a game against Grixis Delver. This can be a challenging matchup. The Nadu Juke is actually huge here. Prismatic Ending. Hydroblast. Veil of Summer. If they're going to have black removal, or potentially Bowmaster. Bowmaster is not in the stock list. It's on Psychic Frog. Mystical Dispute I like. Soulguide Lantern is not worthless, but it's also not good. That slows down Murktide and make it so Psychic Frog doesn't fly. And turn off Delirium. Like, there's a bunch of relevant things, but I think I can do better. Do I want to do all this stuff? I could go for the Juke again. The whole, all this shit out Juke. What does that look like? Soulguide Lantern stays in. Lavinia, Dismember, Veil of Summer. This deck just doesn't look very good. I guess I could keep in Oracle or Cabal Therapy. Those both have text. I can really only win with Nadu. And the speed, solve the puzzle, win the game line isn't there. Yeah, I don't like this. Soulguide Lantern's out. The Dismembers and Lavinias and Veils aren't coming in. I do want these 5 cards if I can find room, but that's a lot. I could cut a Saga. It's pretty low impact with only 1 tutor. I don't love cutting mana versus the Daze Wasteland deck, but those are the cards that I can afford to cut if I'm cutting stuff. And I cut on Narcomoeba earlier and wasn't punished, which means I'm right. That's a joke. I might be playing with fire and just haven't been burned yet. But this build has so many extra creatures in it. But I am boarding 2 of them out. I feel like Halfling's probably really good, actually. What if I just don't bring in Mystical Dispute and I turn Force of Will into Hydroblast, do a side grade? I don't like Force of Will versus Delver traditionally, but I'm not a traditional deck. But I am going to make this change. Okay, I think I found a spot I'm happy with. Okay, Swords of Plowshares. I have 2 Bs looking for an A. I can fetch basic planes if I need to. Delverino. Mystical Dispute. Interesting. I'm not going to play into Daze with my Plow. I'm just going to pass here, and if they follow up with Psychic Frog, I can dispute it. Lightning Bolt revealed. And Red Source also revealed. Ponder's fine. I think I'm going to fetch Hedge Maze. I don't think I can afford to play on basics here. And I would like some extra selection. Yep, fetch Hedge Maze in the end step. Their Ponder did not shuffle. Fairy Time Raveler. That card's really good, but it's not helpful right now. I'm just going to get rid of it. I want mana or interaction or combo pieces, and that's none of the above. I'm going to play Tundra, and I'm going to Plow on their turn. The tap land is nice, and the redundant white source is nice. They fetched a Vulcan the end step. Plow this Delver right now. That resolved. Good news. Brainstorm. I'm not Mystical Disputing cantrips. They have so many cards in their hand, I don't think that's going to collapse them. Mystical Dispute is for Murktide Regent, Psychic Rugs, and Force of Wills. It's like Misty Rainforest Go is what they've got for me. Another Teferi, you love to see it. I'm going to ponder. Ooh, I like all of this. Okay. Prismatic Ending, Narcomoeba, Swords to Plowshares. Do not shuffle. Meticulous Archive puts Narcomoeba straight into play. Into the graveyard. Ka-chow! It's like Dryad Arbor, but it taps for white and blue, and can attack. On the same turn, it taps for mana. Crazy stuff. Just breaking the game. Fetched another Vulcan the end step. Wasteland is the card I'm worried about. It could take me off a whole color here, and my hand is pretty stacked with stuff to do. We knew we were drawing a removal spell there. I could just shove one of these Illusionists into the Lightning Bolt, but that taps me out of the Dispute, which I'm kind of into. If they hit one more land drop, Dispute's not going to hit any of the cards in their deck anymore. It doesn't hit this one now. Did they see that off a bauble? How are they playing around it so go? I don't like it. I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Delver. Ooh, okay. I will Brainstorm first. Try to move some cards around, hit some action. I can plow Bowmaster if they have that. If they Pyroblast this, that's fine. I have lots of good blue cards in my deck that I'm eventually going to use. Alright, test this. I did just open up Daze as a card they can cast, but let's get it out of the way. Yep. I'm missing land drops here. I have other removal in my hand. It's mostly fine. This Teferi and the Nadu are both going to be huge targets for Daze eventually. Delver didn't flip, and they didn't shuffle it away. Wasteland is a high probability card that they would have both not flipped Delver and then not shuffled away. Channeler, I guess that also fits the bill. We can probably reasonably solve for that being their draw step, because they had red up for many turns and didn't play that card. No attack. I would have blocked so fast. Ooh. Nomad's en-kor. I can shove an Illusionist out there. Start putting them to the test. Alright, I'm doing it. If I could flush out Lightning Bolt here, my next land presents the combo. If they bolt, then Surgical Illusionist, then I just have to Nadu to win. Okay, no bolt. They're going to bolt in the upkeep to get the Surveil to help flip the Delver. That makes the most sense. Good timing. I hit a Narcomoeba. I milled over a Nadu. I also milled over a land. Losing the land stings, but I wasn't going to draw it next turn anyway. I was going to draw Nadu. Brainstorm revealed off Delver. They have 3 cards in their hand. One of them's Brainstorm. And here comes that. They have 3 card types. Instants already there. They need a creature or artifact to make DRC flip. They kept their Surveil card. Running good over there. Fetching with the Flooded Strand. Another red source. These are both Narcomoebas, by the way. If I'm going to get burned by playing with fire, it happens here. Okay, Grafdigger's Cage. Teferi can bounce that eventually. I have 1 Prismatic Ending left to answer it. I've milled 1 Teferi, and 1 Ending's already in the graveyard too, so I have 2 outs in my deck to this card. I'm holding one of them. And I'm taking 3 right now. Come on, land. Thassa's Oracle. Not what I want. I'm going to plow the Dragon's Rage Channeler. Just take that off the board. The Narcomoebas can double block Delver. I am holding up Dispute if they have a Murktide or a Frog. They did mill away a Murktide off of a Surveil last turn, which makes me think they have another one. It's not a card you generally need 2 of. Oh, okay. This smells like a Pyroblast or a Lightning Bolt. I'm not ready to give this up yet. They didn't attack last turn, then they did attack this turn. That's suspicious. Come on, land. We did it. Okay. What do I want to do with this land? I could just play Thassa's Oracle and select for cards in my deck. Devotion would be 4. I could shove Teferi. If their card in hand is Pyroblast, I'd like it out of their hand. If their card in hand is Lightning Bolt, that doesn't answer Teferi right now. This is my last green source in the deck. Okay. Don't draw another Wasteland. Coming in with Teferi. I'm protecting Nadu. That's the most important card left. Are we bolting a Narco or are we Pyroblasting Teferi? We're floating a red and dazing. Okay, yeah, that's really good. Okay, 1 unknown left in the deck, or in the hand. I think that means I double block Delver this turn and try to just make Nadu do the thing. Have Nadu do 22 points. I have 1 out to Grafdigger's Cage left now. And I will concede to Wasteland on Tropical Island. Because I literally can't play the game anymore. I'm going to go for... Oh, if I double block... Oh, they're backing off. Alright. Because these are all creatures for Nadu triggers. If I could get this Nomad and Nadu to resolve. Oh, land is always the best card I could have. I think I have to fetch first to make sure that there are appropriate sources of mana to do the things I want to do. Alright. I could get this basic Plains. Or I could just lean in with Tundra. I think I'm supposed to lean in with Tundra. Okay. Nadu. I can beat a Force of Will. I could beat a Daze. They did not Pyroblast me. I'm going to go for Nomads. Unholy Heat. We flip Delighted Halfling, and they are Delirious. Alright, disappointing. If I had led on Nomad, I would have been able to draw 8 there, or draw 6, because I would have redirected all the... Yeah, that was a sequencing error. But we did identify the card they were representing when they attacked with Delver. Yeah, I just thought it was more important to get Nadu in through Daze, but we identified this red spell 3 turns ago. I should have led on Nomads and then played Nadu, and then they can't do the line they just made. Ponder. If they don't Wasteland me this turn and I get Halfling into play, then I can still cast Nadus in the future. There's 2 Nadus left in my deck, and 1 out to Grafdigger's Cage, which is Prismatic Ending. Did not shuffle the Ponder. If I do stick a Nadu, it's a long road, but Thassa's Oracle can win in probably 3 or 4 turns. No! I should probably just concede. Alright, yeah. I can't win this game. Well, no, it's fine. I'll let them see my deck. I have 1 Prismatic Ending left. Yeah, I can literally still win this game, so I will continue playing it. But losing Nadu is horrific there. Damn, that sucks. If I had just played Nomad first, we would have been in much better shape. Oh, the Illusionist is literally in my hand. I don't need... Great. Oh my god. I'm so rusty. Yeah, I can literally win next turn. Yeah, and they did that wrong. Oh my god. Oh my god. We have the whole win. Those of you screaming at the screen, you were right. And my opponent doesn't realize it either, but they just went Hellbent, and I don't need Dread Return to win because I'm holding the Oracle. That's so embarrassing. How long has that been there? Yikes. Shameful, shameful stuff. But let's just win the game now. LMAO. Yeah, if they Molten Collapse the Nomads, then we're back to grinding. They said, how did I miss that? Or they said, how did they miss that? And I said, I don't know, I missed it too. I found it just in time, though. Yeah, there was a lot to keep track of there. And Thassa's Oracle, Busto. Turns out. They said they stacked a Frog on top and to apply pressure and, you know, just nothing to worry about if I don't win. But I did. Cool. Okay, a little bit of a rocky path to get there, but a 4-1 record. Very happy with that. This deck seems very strong. The Nadu pivot is so nice. Just being able to do something else right in your main deck. There are a lot of 6-drops in this combo deck right now. The Nadu slots come at the cost of Daze and Orm's Chant and protection for the core combo that this deck used to play. But with redundancy in what the Nomads and Chukos do, I guess you can play with less protection because it's less important that the first one works. I'm not totally convinced that Cephalid Breakfast is better than a dedicated Nadu Bant deck that can still shred its whole deck and win with Thassa's Oracle, but doesn't have to play the whole game with Dread Return in its hand, for example. Though there is no Nadu deck in the format that can just turn 2 Goldfish, which we did multiple times in this league, to great effect. The mana felt a little rocky. There is literally just like 1-1-1-1-1-1-1-2 of the things that we could fetch, and then the 8 on-color fetch lands to get them. I don't know if that's optimal, but it was coherent, and it was a lot of fun, and Cephalid Breakfast might be back, baby. Keep an eye on this spot when Grief gets banned in August. Brendan, thank you for the opportunity to play this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.